Hello and welcome back to Big Bandit Gaming. I'm your host, Troy, and today we have Izayah.
What's up?
And Colton.
Long time no see.
I know. We're nearly a year older from the last time we recorded.
Yeah.
It's weird.
We're wiser. Izayah's much more well-read from what he's telling
Actually,
me.
this is true. This is very true.
So his academia has really gotten in the way of the podcast. Whenever we ask him, do you want a podcast? He's like, no. I'm nose deep in the pages.
I'm in my library in my wizard garb. I'm just like tromping around my little staff. Like, where's my Sit with Cosmere book?
All right, here we go. So for this podcast, honestly, we want to just keep it a little loose, catch up. Obviously, we can't go over every game that came out this year or even like our top 3 because this would become a much longer, crazier thing than we wanted. We just wanted to pick 3 random things, topics, like kind of high level stuff we wanted to talk about over 2025, what kind of made gaming in our 2025. I'll probably do like a personal like top 10 little podcast thing, like 20 minutes or so. So I'll do that later, but that's not what this is. So, guys, I want to hear about your 2025. What, you know what? There isn't like an order here, but we'll start light. Izayah, I did mention your books. This is your chance. Get it out of your system at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
You're right. So, Colton here got me into a book called Mistborn. He praised it up and down. He's like, you borrow my Audible account so you can listen to it while you're at work. And at the time, when I was working in stocking. And so a lot of time I spent with stocking was in the freezer or in the cooler. And so I'm doing picks, I'm moving boxes, and I actually started listening to it. First time exposed to Brandon Sanderson and Michael Kramer's amazing narration. And ever since that first book, I was like, I'm hooked. Because Colton described the Cosmere, not just like Mistborn, the Cosmere, as imagine if the MCU had a book series. And I'm like, that sounds baller. And I'm into that. And since then,
And to be fair, it takes a little bit to get to like that level, where like they're all like getting involved with each other. But I kind of said that mainly because I was starting to read Wind and Truth, like the latest one, and that's really where things start to come together. That's why I was I tried to warn you. I said it's kind of a long journey to get to that point. But it does end up feeling like that.
I am pretty close at this point. So for reference, I read the Mistborn trilogy, Warbreaker, or Elantris first, then the Warbreaker, and read book 1, 2, 3, 4 of Stormlight Archive. I say read, mostly listened to, but I did read when I could, because I'm mostly at work, you know? And then, of course, Dawn Shard, and then, like, Edge Dancer, yeah. And now I have Treasure of the Emerald Sea. I was gonna read this later, but I'm actually gonna not listen to this. I'm gonna read it myself and take the time to do that. And then right after that, or even before that, I honestly might just go ahead and read the Mistborn Era 2 quadrilogy, which I'm so excited about. Because ever since I started reading Mistborn, I heard about this book a story called Secret History, and it gives us so much more insight and understanding what's been going on behind the scenes of these stories. So while this thing is happening, this other thing off to the side that was hinted at was happening entirely in the background. And you don't know about it. And it's like, oh shoot, I know what this scene is. I know what's happening. Like, Brandon Sanderson does a lot of that overlaying, constant compounding storytelling of these different perspectives, all diverging first, then uniting at the very end, and it's so satisfying. And his books are so incredible and digestible and easy to grasp, not just because of the prose, but because of the actual magic and world building. A lot of politics talk, a lot of utilitarian with Stormlight, but the magic is always easy to understand. Simple terms and simple ideas that you can tie to our real world. Fabrials is like basically an engineering kind of thing in Stormlight Archive. But every time they talk about it, I'm like, you know what? I'm kind of getting it. I understand. You do this, you twist this gemstone to make it activate this fabrial, and like you move it to this side, it has this reaction. A lot of push and pull and force and matter going on, and it's always such a delight. If you want to ask me personally what my favorite book is, The Well of Ascension legit became my favorite book of all time. Mistborn 2, it's amazing because you have this like it's like in the RPG, Troy, right? Like Live Alive or Octopath Traveler. You have these different perspectives where like they were divided and like we're all pulled by the same fate. We feel like something's wrong in our world. And so you all meet up and that's when shit goes crazy. That's when you get cornered, surrounded by these different like not just cities, but like forces, and then you have this like throwing under the soil that you just can't shake. It's there, the back of your head, like begging for your attention. It is so exciting. And not just that, the center lanches are incredible. That's how crazy these books are. Brand Sanderson has a term for his own books coined by his community called a Cinderlanche, where the last 100, 200 pages are always like blitzed through. Everyone's like locked in. You just can't stop reading. It's awesome. I love these books. Thank you, Colton. I'm hooked. And right now, as far as other literary stuff is going, I have Project Hail Mary in my hands. It's awesome so far.
Bada bing. Hey, don't thank me. Thank Troy.
Troy, thank you. Your pool job definitely.
He's the one that wrapped me into it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Oh yeah. I've given out the yep. Too many of people I've said, hey, you might be interested in this. By the way, the last Wax and Wayne book that came out of that quadrilogy is just hands down the most Cosmere
I can't wait.
book. Like
I can't wait.
There's some stuff that goes down at the end of that where you're like, oh, okay, we're just past. We're totally to this point now. Not to mention the secret. Yeah, all the secret books, obviously, but yeah.
Awesome
cool.
stuff.
Very cool. Love it. Yep. All right. I'm looking at our little list here, and it looks like we have had both of you guys kind of have a comfort game in here. One of you specifically describes it as a comfort game. And I can see another game here for you, Izayah, which I would describe possibly as that.
It's my favorite game of all time.
Colton, I want to hear about these couple of games you have on here on your list.
Well, yeah. So me going back to school this year for both semesters is one of the reasons why I was a lot more busy this year. I was probably busier this year than I have been in recent memory for sure. And sometimes I didn't, when I did have a little bit of time to play something, it just felt easier to go back to play some like really relatively simple action games. And I finished Dishonored 1 for the first time in a long time. I forget, sometime in 2024. At the beginning of the year, I was like, man, let me go back. I'm going to replay that game. I'm going to be evil this time. Kill everybody, do whatever. I did that.
There's going to be a lot of rats.
Yes, yeah, a lot of rats, a lot of devouring bodies and stuff. That was like the first half of 2025. And then the second half, I was like, all right, let me actually beat the second Dishonored for the first time. And I think I played that game all the way through 4 times. There was something really simple about especially the second half of the year during my fall semester for school. I was going to school like full time with also a full-time job. So it was really hard for me to start a game that would demand so much of my attention. And it's as cliche as it sounds, it really was comforting to be able just to jump into Dishonored 2 and be like, oh yeah, I'm on my, I'm doing an evil playthrough now. Let me just jump in for like 30 minutes and do a level. I can, you can save it anytime you want. It doesn't take a whole lot of brain power to play that game, I think. But it was also like, I don't know. That type of game is such a me game that it just it really helped me relax, So I just once I finished that game, I just replayed it, and then I replayed it again, and then the last playthrough I did, I finished in December. It actually took me like 2 months to play that. After like getting on, I would get on a little bit like almost each day, because I did my final playthrough. I did a good playthrough. I didn't kill a single person. I didn't get spotted by one person through the whole game, and I didn't accept the magic, like the guy that like introduces himself in the beginning of the game to you, and he's basically like take my power and use magic. I denied it, so I had no magic throughout the whole game, and it made it way more challenging. But I had a freaking blast with it. So I can't even tell you how much time I spent with Dishonored 1 and 2 this year, but it was a lot of hours though. They were just those were like the games that I needed this year. So
nice.
I spent a lot of time doing that.
Yeah,
it's so funny.
I hope their Blade game comes actually out into existence because they announced that like 4 or 5 years ago now.
Yeah,
crazy.
Blade? Oh, the Blade Marvel game?
Yeah, it's the same studio.
That's dope. That's good. That's awesome.
And it actually was funny playing those games and then Izayah at the same time like reading Mistborn for the first time.
Yeah.
I never thought about it. I was like, oh man, I feel like this studio like
very steampunk.
Like, oh dude, this could totally be a Mistborn game.
Totally.
Like it's the way it moves and everything could be really cool.
The cool thing about that, you mentioned it, the funny thing about that actually is like, first of all, Brandon Sanderson actually is not the type to like sneaky games like that. However, he is in talks right now of there being a potential studio up for grabs, like almost like there for grabbing Mistborn game. So that is actually a potential, very possible and tangible product that can be in our hands in the not the near future, but like in the coming years.
I'll believe it when I see it.
Yeah, me too. He's been saying that for years.
Yeah. Actually, Brandon Sanderson has a video where he goes over his like top 10 games of all time, and it's like a legit list.
It's a legit list. And when we revealed number 1, I was like, of course it is. It was very funny.
Yeah. Okay, on that same note, Izayah, it's kind of a comfort game and kind of a new game for you, but you know what I mean.
Okay, I want to save that a bit for later when
we can do that.
About it.
Why don't you go with your backlog then?
Yeah. So this year, like Colton, I've also been in school. And so I've been dedicating as much time as I can to doing my actual schoolwork while working. And then when I actually have downtime, I was working on a hobby that will tie into my comfort game later. But in the midst of that backlog, I was like, you know what? I've been spending a lot of money. This is not healthy. I gotta make sure like I save up my money for a car, first of all. And second of all, like just cause like I have a lot of games. I have a good amount of games I can play right now. So even though I wasn't like working towards the Game of the Year episode for this year, I was trying to chip away at that backlog. And just recently, I was like, you know, if I want to play Silksong, I should play Symphony of the Night. If I love Metroid, Super Metroid, and those games, I'm sure I'll love Symphony of the Night. So I finished Rondo of Blood. First of all, what a god. That game is very cool, right? For its time, it's pretty impressive for the console it launched on because it's a completely different console made by Konami, right, Troy?
Yeah, it only got an official release in like 2020, and it was the TurboGrafx 16 Mini. It came in that with an official translation. So yeah, Rondo Blood's awesome. But yeah,
Rondo Blood is awesome. Definitely aged in terms of like some game design. In my opinion.
It's older than Symphony for sure. That's like a Super Nintendo Genesis era console.
But I swear to you, the struggle is worth it because the moment you boot up Symphony of the Night and you're thrusted into your final stage, like Bloodlines, and I was like, whoa! It was such a cool twist of like, hey, here's what we know about the ending of Rondo of Blood. Let's twist that and let that tie directly into Symphony of the Night and give you this shredding guitar as an introduction with these amazing PS1 graphics and go crazy, have fun, just go balls to the wall. And then like actually give you, oh, here's your protagonist. Here's your Metal Gear Solid 2 twist. It's Alucard. In other words, Ryan. And you get to explore this amazing, monstrous, and like layered castle where like you're not just going through like, oh, the graveyards, the sewers. No, you're fully within the Castlevania, Dracula's castle. And there's so many cool little secrets, all these like fun but kind of easy bosses. And honestly, I would argue there's some Dark Souls DNA that like the roots of it kind of showing from this game. Do you know what I'm talking about? Because you can equip to both arms a shield and like a sword, or just do a double hand of sword, and then like you have like your magic. Like it feels very Souls like. Do you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying, Troy?
Sure. Yeah. I get you.
Yeah. It's good. And on top of that, I love that. I even did like a full map completion. Like I loved it that much. I enjoyed it to the point where like I want to do more for it. And then I was like, you know what? God of War Ragnarok was a game I actually never finished. I want to finish it. And I got into it, and I feel bad for not finishing it sooner, but I'm glad. Because on one hand, this game is phenomenal. I would argue this would probably make my game of the year for that year. Like over Elden Ring, honestly, because of how much the story meant to me. And also just because like how you can struggle with the controllers, and in my opinion the combat can be a bit clunky at times, but once you like are forced into like very intense situations and you're starting to like press all these different buttons, you're trying to find out like, okay, how can I like stun lock the boss by using my specials and like my health stone or whatever. It becomes clearer and clearer to you that while it looks simple on the surface for God of War combat, it's actually a bit more layered and a lot more thoughtful. And once you figure that out, that game becomes like a joy. And the climax, the ending, that all that build up to that nice little turn of events where it subverts your expectations and says, we're not going to entertain just this one sole goal. We're going to handle it the way we should have to begin with. And I think it ties the themes, the development, the characters really well together. And I'm going to say it right now. One-on-one boss fights for final bosses is always peak, but nothing beats like ganging up on one old man. It is so fun and funny. I loved it. I'm currently going through the DLC. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was about to say that. I think they do a really good job with those, like really like at like those fights where like it's not just you, it's also Atreus, and then like they did that with Baldur, like towards the end of the first game, where
right.
You'd go to punch him and then Atreus would go to kick him, and then you would go to kick him, and then Atreus would hit him with a bow, and it had like those very cinematic fights. And I watched you beat the end of Ragnarok a couple days ago, and I forgot they did that too with Odin, except it was,
yes.
Kratos, Atreus, and Freya, right? Yeah. And it was real. I forgot how cool that like the ending of that fight looked.
It's awesome. I'm going through the DLC right now, Valhalla. It's so far really fun. I'm doing what you're doing. I love
that DLC, dude.
Colton, that DLC, I like that DLC better than the entirety of that entire game.
Really?
I'm not even joking. I like the combat. I really, there were parts of like the level design and story and stuff I did not exactly vibe with all the way. That being said, it was still like my number 5 that year. It was in my top 10. So it's nitpicking, but it's good. I really like that DLC because I think that combat system is rad.
Yeah, I'm just doing a run. I'm doing one run a day to see how far I can get with the story. And I'm just enjoying it more. That spear is
I love
baller.
The spear, dude.
Oh, the spear's so cool. Yeah. So cool.
That DLC is just like, I mean, they're not making any qualms. They're not like trying to hide it. I mean, it's Hades. Like it's like they played Hades and they made that. Yeah. Like it's absolutely what that game is, which again, that Hades loop is something else. So
yeah.
All right. Cool. Yeah, those are some big backlog games. Those are cool. You know what? I'm having a hard time deciding like what I want to talk about first. But if we're already just talking about games, it's funny. I was looking at because I already made a top 10, which I won't. Obviously, I said I was going to do it in another podcast, go over it. So I don't want to give away my order. But looking at not just my top 10, but my master list has about like 20 games on it. And if you took away any of the Switch 2 like AAA stuff, I would only have one AAA game this year that made it to my list, which is kind of wild. I don't know. Yeah. I think that says a little bit about how I was feeling this year, about like what I really like went to, and a little bit of like what AAA gaming looked like this year. Because there were other games like, I played some Doom, I played some Ninja Gaiden 4, and those games really didn't hit it for me. I got bored. I dropped out of those,
Yeah.
So, and there's a handful of others like that too, where I just straight up was like, I am not interested in playing that. Ghost of Yote is the large exception there, because that game is wonderful. But yeah. So I mean, just going over like what kind of indie, like whether Dispatch, like Ball X Pit. I have Keeper. Keeper is truly a hidden gem. That's the Double Fine play as a lighthouse game. And all I'll say about that game,
I forgot about that game,
is they showed you very little about what that game actually is. And I don't want to ruin it, but the lighthouse is not everything there is to that game. It's kind of wild. It's like a quick
cool.
3 to 4 hour game. It's great. One of Double Fine's best efforts. Sword of the Sea. This is the Abzu team and like X Journey. And literally they're just like, hey, let's make Journey again, but let's give them like a Tony Hawk board with like sick movement. And they brought back shoot, what's his name? They brought back the composer. I'm forgetting the Journey composer's name. Whatever. They brought him back and he made probably his best soundtrack to date. And so yeah, Sword of the Sea is a big one in that. I played like little itch.io games all over the place due to another system I got, which I will be speaking about. Bionic Bay, I know that is one you did manage to play, Colton. After I told you someone needs to freaking play this game.
That was great, dude.
Yeah, that game is wild. So it's just like up and down. It was just a very diverse year for like smaller developers. And obviously we had the big ones, like you have Silksong, you have Clair Obscur. Those technically are like, I would say those are more like AA games than like indie games, but you know what I mean? It was just really diverse year for me. And I feel I always come out feeling like, okay, I feel good about like, obviously I can't play everything anymore. And so I feel really good about like the games I took time to beat this year. And just looking at my list, it's so diverse and things are on different systems. And it's just all the games just like really worked really well with how it was flowing. And a lot of that has to do with the hardware that came out this year for me. And so let's go to that before I go to mine, because I kind of have a triple of new hardware gaming hardware I got this year. Colton, I want to hear about something you're mentioning on your doc here.
Are you talking about the game or my feeling of betrayal?
Let's go over your feeling of betrayal. Let's dig into that.
Yeah.
So because I was so busy this year, I was at my computer doing schoolwork every day. Well, I guess almost every day. When I would get done, it sounds silly, but having to walk all the way to the living room to get to the PS5, that kind of sounded a little, after doing homework for a couple hours, and then, I only have 30 minutes before I have to go to bed to get up for work. I would, like I said, that's when my Dishonored gaming would come in, or that's when Bionic Bay would come in, or that's when, other games that came out this year would come in. I spent way more time on the computer this year than I did on my PlayStation. And I did that for the first time ever, because I'm still a little new to having a computer to game on, right? I had that one I got from work for a couple years, like right before we started this podcast. And then last year in February, I kind of built like an actual one, a PC that didn't have 10-year-old GPUs in it and stuff. And after spending a lot of money on it, I kind of felt like I wanted to use it this year, so I really did. And it was like at the end of the year, I kind of finally realized this. And man, I feel like I left my PlayStation high and dry this year. And as a diehard PlayStation fan who has really only ever played on PlayStation 95% of the time, like his whole life, it feels really weird. I mean, I've always known, obviously, there's more games on computers, or that you can do more stuff on it. But I never really thought tempting it was, once you have a computer that you actually want to game on because it can game on whatever you want to game on it, it'll run well. I never thought how tempting that would actually be. And this year, I kind of fell down that hole. Not that that's bad or anything. It's strange for me. Strange.
Do you think it? Because I want to dig into that a little bit more. Because like I know I'm saving up for like a real big PC purchase, probably in 2028 at this point, considering what's happening with the market.
Oh yeah,
and the specs I want to build for it. But do you feel like that kind of colored the games you played this year, like the type of games? Because I mean, whenever I see you guys online, you guys are always playing like a multiplayer, like social game.
Yes.
Yeah. So I actually do think that
majority
that
of your
was...
time this year, it seemed like.
Oh yeah, I would definitely say a majority of the time. Actually, well, okay, maybe not for me. It was probably 50-50 between.
Oh sure.
Only because I played the Dishonored game so much this year. But if I wasn't playing Dishonored, most of the time I was playing, like Repo or Peak or like Lethal Company, whatever. So yeah, having the computer really did, because I had a lot more access to those multiplayer games. So that definitely, yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, definitely. What'd you say? It like colored my list of games that I played this year for sure.
Sure. Yeah. No, it makes sense. Cool. Yeah. No, and don't sell your PC short. You built like an actually like really beefy PC.
No, yeah.
Like a legit PC.
Mine still has a good few years. Like mine's basically the power of a PS5.
Yeah, yours is about a PS5 level. Colton is above a PS5 Pro for sure. Especially in the CPU. But
I'm just glad I did it. I did it before this whole RAM thing.
Yeah. You'd be spending like an extra $1,000 on like everything. It's insane. So
yeah, no, thank you.
Yeah, it sucks. But Izayah, I see. Well, you know what? You have one left, so let me go back. I'll go back into one of mine because Colton talked about kind of building his PC and kind of going through that experience. I kind of had a triple triad of launches this year, and I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go. I like all three of these hardware, so I don't want it to sound like I'm like ranking them and the third one is poor. But I'm gonna go in the order of like what made me happiest, like what did I really enjoy and like what was super unique. So I'm gonna start with the PS5 Pro. PS5 Pro came out earlier this year. And this, I was kind of at a point too where I was like, either I get this PS5 Pro or I build a PC. And the more I thought about it, I think here's you guys know the type of games I play and kind of like what I go for and stuff. And if I built a PC, all I would be doing is playing the same exact games I'm playing at just better specs, probably higher fidelity. Like I really don't think I would change what I'm playing, if not just changing the platform I'm playing it on. And with the PS5 Pro, like it's either if it was between getting a PC or PS5 Pro, I know like, hey, I know Yote is coming up. I know Wolverine is coming up. There's gonna be like PlayStation first party stuff that I will be bummed out if I don't have like the better experience. And those are still the games I usually kind of go for if I'm doing big AAA stuff. So I got the PS5 Pro, and this is a weird year for that console where like clearly there are some like benefits from a base PS5, but it really doesn't show unless you're doing like playing first party stuff or like a developer that really knows what they're doing with it. And so like Yote is a great example. Like Yote has an amazing a night and day difference between Yote the base and PS5 Pro. Like an entire like ray trace 60 FPS mode that you would not get on the base. And so that is like a shining example of that where I'm like, oh, this is sick. And then they put a patch that like unlocked the frame rate. So now it's running at like 90 to, like 70 to 100 on on the ray tracing mode on my, on my OLED stuff, which is great. Like, I'm like, this is, if there was more of that this year, I think it would be higher. But honestly, like, it's been like this for years. PS5 Pro, I almost treat like a Nintendo console, my PlayStation, where it just kind of plays my exclusives. And there's many reasons for that. Part of the reason is like my PS5 Pro is locked to my desk. So, if I want to hang out with Sam or play somewhere else, like downstairs, but this whole generation, it's been kind of like, well, I'll get it on my Xbox instead, because I have the Series X upstairs and S downstairs, and it worked really well in that configuration. So the PS5 Pro, good hardware, runs really well with my setups that I already have throughout the house. But just not a lot came out that kind of like really showed it off. So I think next year is gonna change. Like we're getting Resident Evils, we're getting possibly like Wolverine, and like there's some good games coming out to that. Secondly, I got a Playdate, and a Playdate is a little mini console. It's I think the people I made, it's called Panic. And they had Teenage Engineering, which makes like hi-fi equipment and a bunch of other really cool, expensive stuff, honestly. But they collaborated on a little console called the Playdate that launched maybe a year or two now. And I'd been eyeing it for forever. And finally, I pulled the trigger. And my best pitch for the Playdate is, it's the best of mobile gaming without any of the worst parts of it. So you get you get these really cool, unique games. You don't get ads. You don't get there's no microtransactions. There's none of that. It is just like the purest way to play that sort of game in like a little package where, it's helped me not scroll or do that stuff. And it's about half. So if you took like a Game Boy Advance SP and you just split it in half, like just break that sucker in half. That's the screen portion of a Game Boy Advance SP is about the size of it. And so you can just carry it anywhere. Its library is so diverse, and pretty much every like big indie dude has made a game for it at this point. Like Bennett Foddy, like there's just like a ton of games on it in different genres, from like, like a vampire survivor, like to visual novels, to arcade shooters, to like RPGs. Runners, to little like mini games, RPG, like, you know what it is. And my second pitch for it, it's like UFO 50 if it was a real device. So it is just the sickest little device I've owned in a while.
It's incredible.
That sort of stuff makes me really excited. That I didn't even mention, it has a crank, and that is kind of you can choose. There are some games that don't even use it, but most of them do. Like find really cool ways to use it. And so there's some really creative like stuff with that crank that you do. And Sam's played it a lot more than she thought she would, because I handed it to her. I'm like, try this. And she hacks away at it for 20-30 minutes. It's been really good. It's a little expensive because it's not subsidized or anything. There's not like a big corporation behind it. So they're selling it probably at, at near what it costs to make. But I love it. It's perfect. It's so cool.
It does look cool. Like that would be something I would like. I mean, if the price does, if I can get one for cheaper at some point, like maybe on Facebook Marketplace, it'd be cool. Am I wrong? Does it not have like a backlit screen though?
No, that is the catch. Is it makes battery life really good. It makes its form factor like really possible. But yeah, it's like an interesting screen. It's a reflective screen. But it's like super highly pixel dense, so it can do like really crazy like high fidelity like pixel art. But it's black and white, no backlight. It has a reflective screen, super pixel dense, and it runs at 50 FPS. Which is, it doesn't matter if 50, 60, as long as the games are running at its like native refresh rate. That's all that matters. So in practice, it's kind of hard to explain it, but you do need to get it in the right light. So you wouldn't be able to like take this in bed or play it at night. Like you'd need to do it in situations, but I haven't found myself. It's really not for that. It's like when I'm out and about or just on the couch and want to pull something. It's really not something you're going to sit and play like 3 hours of, Yeah.
Okay. But that has been the one thing I'm like, I do wish I feel like I wish it would have a backlit screen, but then I mean, I don't know, the way you say it, like maybe I wouldn't even notice it, like if I did get one like that.
Yeah, there are times where it is, and there is an app actually for PC and Mac where you just plug it in and it projects it to your screen. And so you can play it that way too.
That's awesome.
With kind of like minimal, like there's a little bit of latency, but not enough to really affect you too much. So that's cool. Yeah, you can play it that way too, which is really cool. I've done that a couple of times. Yeah, my fear, Colton, was that this is one of those items where it's niche enough to where if they discontinued this, like prices would automatically go up the roof and I would probably never get one, you know? Like there's no talks. I really looked it up. It seems like a really one and done deal. I haven't seen like any movement on like a Playdate 2. And there's no sign of them like stopping making hardware, but the way everything's going, and they made 2 seasons of games. And just so you know, that's how that works. When you buy it, you get the first season. It's 24 games, and it releases 2 games to you every week. And then there's a store which you can just buy, whatever games they have on the store, and then you can also sideload games. So I have a lot of like itch games on there, which has been cool.
Okay.
And so there's like 3 avenues to get games. So I haven't heard anything about it like a season 3. So it might be winding down, but as it is, there's like, I forget how many games there are officially on the store. It's like 800 something, So
that much?
I mean, right now I probably have about 60 games in there. Which is already like a ridiculous amount for a console. So it's a joy. It's great. I really enjoy it. And then that leads me to probably the last and most important launch this year for me, and that's the Switch 2. I think everything really aligned for me on the Switch 2. That being that I really invested in kind of my digital library for Switch 1. Like over the years, I never stopped playing, and I think I was still looking at like store deals like from launch to end, So when I ended the Switch 1 era, I had about, like 195 games on my Switch, and getting a piece of hardware that just like, I literally launched it and it just like downloaded all of them and all those games like just automatically run better, look better. The store runs better. I mean, everything about the Switch 2 is what a Switch Pro should have been. And so, like I said earlier too, with the Switch 2 is like, if it wasn't for the Switch 2, I probably wouldn't have played any AAA games this year, barely, other than Ghost of Yotei. But the drops they did have this year, I think Mario Kart World took a while to grow on me. I actually wasn't feeling it for a bit until I put more time into it, and now I can like actually like consistently rank. There was a while there where I was like, I don't feel like I have any control about where like I land, what position I land in this game, because there's just so many players and so much going on that you just feel like you get extra screwed. But there's strategies and ways I found that that can get you up there. So I've turned around on Mario Kart World. I really enjoy that game. And Metroid Prime came out this year. Donkey Kong Bonanza, which is Donkey Kong Bonanza. People call it a collectathon, but I don't like collectathon platformers all that much, and so I really don't think it is. Like, I think there's things to collect in the game that just lead you to kind of like different areas and puzzles you might have not explored in that area if you hadn't been incentivized. And so I think there's a really good balance there, and just the amount of like movement tech you can do in that game is freaking insane.
Yeah, it looks nuts.
Like if you think that like cap jump, like double jump, dive in Mario Odyssey was crazy, like by the end of that, I was like ripping up the ground, like shooting off the ledge, throwing it, like jumping off it into a roll, and like getting to a platform. I felt like I had no. Like, and then I realized, oh, there was like invisible platforms there. I didn't need to do that like ridiculous chain, but I could, and it let me, and I was like, yeah, this is a good game. And it's just fun to smash things up, man. It's just like, yeah I love that. It's just so satisfying. A little long, but still overall good. So yeah, Switch 2. It's been a big hit in this house. Sam maybe has played more Switch 2 this year than I have even.
Oh, really?
Not an amount of games, but the games she did get hooked into this year with that as that was a surprise, and that's fun. But yeah, I think it's a great start to Nintendo's like new generation. I think it plays the docked experience, which was how I liked to play my games in general, and even my Switch 1 games, is just so improved. It's like having a little Series S in your hand, more or less. And I think that's really I'll come back to it, but that kind of leads into my last little like closing note on this year for me about what the Switch 2 has kind of changed in my like gaming habits in the house. But just having like a system powerful enough to plug into my OLED, like if you have any kind of modern TV, it does all that stuff. It does the auto low latency. It doesn't do VRR, but it does do the 4K 60 or 1440 120. Like I played Hades 2 at like 120 FPS on a Nintendo console, and it felt awesome.
Crazy.
So yeah, it's weird. It's weird to be playing like Nintendo games at like high frame rates. It's really wild how big that jump was. One thing about the Switch 2, obviously, screen isn't great. Like, of course, I would have rather had like an OLED screen. So I'll be waiting for that to come out. But, most of the time, I am playing on my screens in my house, and that experience has been so markedly improved that it just allowed me to play a lot more like games I might have not gotten around to this year. So it was just an indie game machine for me. Like I probably bought 50 Switch games this year.
God dang.
And beat a good amount of them. So it's been awesome. I think the Switch 2 is well worth it. Very expensive, but hey, if that's the way, however I can still continue to play Nintendo games, I'll be there. So
yeah. I like to pick it back off that and just say, like, as someone who actually got the Switch 2 close to launch, I think it is worth the money, especially if you want to get the Mario Kart bundle. I think Mario Kart's a great game, especially for someone like me and Troy, or like, we have family, we have friends, we can like hang around a lot, and like we can buy these games, these multiplayer games, as an excuse, like, oh, I can try this with my family and see how they like it, and not just me.
Mm-hmm.
Like it always makes the experience a bit more fulfilling. Yeah. And it's fun. And not even just that, the exclusives and what have you. The actual like what's it called? Like the emulator, like ROM
Yuzu or wait, what are you talking about? You're talking about like yes. I know you want to call it like the virtual console, but yeah,
virtual console. Yeah. Sure. That alone, for someone like me, I actually love it. The Game Boy Advance and GameCube being an addition to Switch 2 for the online plan, and thus incentivizing to upgrade that plan to a bit higher, I think it's worth it, because I've been always the type of person and gamer to enjoy older games and explore what are the classics and why are they considered classics. Similar how people like read like your LR, was it J.R. Tolkien and other amazing books in that canon. There's always a reason why these things are great, and I like exploring that reason. So I've been getting into like Fire Emblem for the Game Boy Advance. I've been getting into like, I've always been a fan of like Wind Waker when I emulated years ago, and now I have it officially on my Switch, and I have a much more reason to play it now and much easier time. I actually had Path of Radiance. Is that Path of Radiance, Fire Emblem?
Oh my god, yes, Path of Radiance, dude. That game's like, I mean, obviously you can just download it online and play on an emulator, but if you wanted that game officially, it's like $150. Fire Emblem Path Radiance is my second favorite Fire Emblem of all times, right behind Awakening. So god, cool. Fire Emblem Path Radiance is a good game. Freaking game.
I modded that to my Wii, and I was gonna play it later.
Good story.
But now I have it officially, so I can play it for that reason. And I will say, as someone who has been playing a lot of new games this year, backlog-centric, hobby-centric, whatever it may be, I will say Kirby Air Riders is absolute joy. I get people are like, so much is happening, it's so fast. Oh, this feels a little confusing. I swear to you, the chaos makes sense. after a while. And even when it does get crazy, like ricktastic crazy, that gerbil's fucking running down the road at like 200 miles per hour. Even when it does get to that level of like overwhelming, it's such a joy. You just can't help but like sit there and be like, I'm a funny hamster. I'm a funny hamster with the cowboy hat. Like I do all
Rick is
voice.
a champion. I agree.
He's the best. Yeah.
I will. I need to get Kirby. I do.
You do.
Gosh, I spent so much money on Switch games this year. Like I just bought Galaxy 2 and I just got Galaxy 2 and I just beat Final Fantasy Tactics, and that already is like over $100. So yeah, like need to chill.
I need to play Galaxy 2 so badly.
I'll get it.
Yeah.
Wait, you've never played Galaxy 2?
No, so I did, but like I was a kid, we rented out a Blockbuster.
Heck yeah!
So I never got to finish it.
Yeah, Galaxy 2, man, good game. All right, it looks like we have a few games here. Izayah, well, let's go over your last little point. It looks like we just have a couple more things we want to talk about on our doc here.
So, like I said, not many new games. Ironically, I actually haven't played Silksong. I love Hollow Knight, but I have not played Silksong. I haven't bought it. But one game, one developer, I will lay like my life down on, and will be there day one, regardless. It's Toby Fox and Deltarune. I adore Deltarune. To say that Undertale has impacted me in a positive way in my life, but also my gaming habits, how I interact with games and like the morality of it, and grasping of characters and writing and storytelling, like it'd be short, it'd be cutting it short to say, oh, Undertale impacted me positively. Like, no, dude, that game is my life. I love that game. It's literally my favorite game ever. And Deltarune, to say that Deltarune is now one of my favorite games ever, maybe even like next to Undertale, is telling of how much chapters 3 and 4 raised the bar. Imagine being me, someone like me, on the spectrum, brain rotted, like just hacking away on YouTube, looking for theories and like trying to break apart this game and look for all these secrets and details that might foreshadow to the future. Right? And being sitting there for like 3 years from chapter 2 to chapter 3 and 4, right? Imagine my surprise when I'm playing chapter 3, I'm nearing the end of the chapter, and I just see a TV get cut down and see the coolest over farming and gobsmacking antagonist just cross their arms and twinkle at me and let out this guttural roar, shattering all expectations and all ideas of like what I think would happen. And it's like, no, dude, we're doing it now. It's such an exciting feeling. Like, for example, I'm on chapter 7 of Project Hail Mary. We're doing the thing now like sci-fi does, where it's like, oh, we're talking about that thing now. It's happening so soon, and you can't help but like fall in love with that. Deltarune is a consistent joy of a video game. I can't tell you how many times I've laughed, smiled, cried playing this game. It does something to me that a lot of video games aren't able to do now. God of War, pinches at me, like made me a little teary-eyed, misty-eyed. But like Deltarune brings out the child in me. You could hear in my voice. I'm smiling thinking about it, and it pushes me. Undertale did the same thing for me too, where it sparks this like creative drive and inspires you to like do something else, do something else in your time, and put your heart and soul into it. Toby Fox wrote the entirety code of Undertale in one notepad. Do you know how absolutely inefficient that is? It's terrible. It's awful. But he did it, and he made his dream come true. And Deltarune, not just from like a gameplay standpoint, not just from a story standpoint, and all its amazing positives that Troy will probably talk about later, from a personal impact perspective, it literally stands as like the spark, the example of like, this is what happens when you chase your dreams. So do it. I spent 2 months after the summer just writing and ironically, it sounds silly, but writing fan fiction because I was so inspired. I wanted to do something. I wanted to put my ideas and all of the things I've been swirling in my mind on a paper. And Deltarune is that exact reason. It is that inspiration. And without it, I don't think I would be doing that. If I were to, probably much later down the road. Deltarune, I love this game. We can talk up and down how cool the Roaring Knight is. We can talk about how the lore, the theories, the build up, the foreshadowing, all these details. Susie being like this secret protagonist. It's so cool. There's so many cool things going on, and the music alone already deserves its own like hour-long rant. But you get it. You know it. Go play it. You can wait until the full release. You could, but I think it's better when you're along the ride of it.
How likely is it? Do you think it'll overtake Undertale for you?
I think it'll be like a side by side Mario and Luigi type of deal, where it's just like matched. But I do think eventually it might overpower it. But then again, the power of nostalgia is quite strong. The buoyancy in that shit is like gripping.
someone who really appreciates like Undertale, especially in the period it came out and everything.
Yeah.
I will say, like, without, like, obviously yours is very experiential and nostalgic attached to it. But as someone who maybe appreciates these games more on like a mechanical and just like creativity level, like it's so endlessly creative, like mechanically creative. Cool. Deltarune, there's so many ideas in that game that, and they all work. They somehow all work together. Deltarune is an endlessly better game than Undertale. Like as a video game that you play with the mechanics and just like even like pacing and everything, Deltarune, especially chapters 3 and 4, like holy crap. Chapter 4 is insane.
It's insane, dude.
Oh, dude. There's so many. I could have a podcast with you and just be like that pumpkin boss,
the music, the sanctuary. Oh my god.
Oh, dude. Yeah, all the music is good. Sam, I played it because this launched with the Switch 2. Yes. So this is a game I was just playing a lot in the living room, and it's just hilarious. The writing's great, but just mechanically, it is so far and away a better game than Undertale. Really but I get Undertale is important. Like you don't get Deltarune without Undertale, but boy, yeah, it is like if you tried Undertale and you're like, I don't know, Deltarune is like, that's the game, dude. It's good.
Yeah.
I can't wait for chapter 5.
It's this year. This latter half of this year. Summer.
I know. They even had a Switch 2 only boss where you use the dual mouse, and that is such a sick boss too.
Oh, they do.
I had to like clear out my coffee table so I could like have room for both mice in my hand. And, oh man, it's so freaking cool.
It's so good.
Yeah. So yeah, Deltarune is an awesome game. It just continues to get better and better. Let's hear. I think we're just down to me and you, huh, Colton, on our last points. You know what?
I think so. Yeah.
Just wrapping up my thoughts. Another thing, the Switch 2. This is surprising. This is not something I expected. If I had to say this generation, like this console generation, what system I played the most of, it was far and away my Xbox, my Series X and S. I played.
Surprising.
Between and there's a few reasons for that. Obviously, like if it was a power, like hey, I want to play this on the thing has most power. Like the PS5 and Series X were so neck and neck that I kind of went one or the other way, depending on what I was feeling, what it looked like, what Digital Foundry said. So there's that, and a good amount of it, I was like, man, it's the same. And then there's the software itself. I think. There's a few things the Series X and S does the PS5 doesn't with my display, which actually makes some games run a lot better. So there's that stuff. The second reasoning is, like I said before, I have an X upstairs and an S downstairs, and their like cloud save system, like I could within like a second, I could turn on and off the other, and the save is just there. It never overrides anything. It works exactly like it should. And so, with me not just wanting to hide away up here and hang out with Sam. Like if there was an indie game, I got it on Xbox this year because I could go upstairs, I could go downstairs, and that's what I wanted. It just gave me that flexibility. And especially if it's an indie game that like, hey, it will run better on like a more powerful system. I could just play it upstairs for the most part. And so the Switch 2 really threw a wrench in that. There's two things that happened. Obviously, Game Pass went up by like 70% over this year. And I've been a constant subscriber, for a long time. And that's the moment it broke me. I'm like, I can't justify keeping like myself signed up to this. So
what did it go up to?
30 a month.
30. Whew.
30 a month, and not to say like if there's like a few drops like within a few months, like I can subscribe for a month, play a few games, and then unsubscribe. That'll probably be my Game Pass experience for the time being. But what really threw a wrench in is when I got the Switch 2, I got an extra dock. So I have a dock upstairs and a dock downstairs, and I can play it in handheld. And it has the power to actually run indie games, like not at like half the frame rate or, something ridiculous. It runs it a lot like the Series S already does for the most part. And so it's really just like the Switch 2 came out and and Xbox itself really killed any reason I would continue to like invest and play in their platform. I actually think the Xbox is just a better platform to play, even than the PS5, just because of the tech reasons and my certain situation. But like their next generation, they're talking about just putting a Windows, like having it just be a Windows machine, And I hate Windows 11. Windows 11 is the worst. Like, by the time I build a PC, if there's a way for me to have a Linux box, I'll do it.
Yeah.
Like I avoid it. Like I use it for work, but I really avoid Windows because it's just whether it's a driver, dude, something's always breaking. I swear to God, it's infuriating. But so yeah, I mean, it's kind of like an end of the era. Like I've been playing Xbox since, OG Xbox into 360. Like I've always had an Xbox and I played a fair bit amount of it. And this is the first generation where I played more than like my other systems. And so for them to like end it like this is kind of a bummer because they had some good things going on, but it just could not make the first party stuff happen. And just decisions they're making really, really made me put it to rest. Just, there's just not a lot of reason now with the Switch 2 to do that. The Switch 2 and my PS5 Pro. Like, obviously, like that will be the best place to play multi-platform stuff for the next few years for me. And the Switch 2 would be the best place to play indie games. And so that doesn't leave much room for my Xbox anymore unless they're doing like day one Game Pass stuff, which has now gone up in price. So it's not just an easy thing for me anymore. So it's this year just really, I'm like, it's crazy that I went from
that was like, kind of the fear, right? From the beginning, by the whole Game Pass, everyone's like, how long can it stay like that though? There's no way it can stay $10 a month forever.
It didn't. And I expected it. And you know what? If they had kept up, like if they had really, this generation built up a really strong, consistent first party, like if we were getting like Sony's first party output on like a Game Pass type thing day one, I think it would still even be worth the $30, once you put in like their day one indie stuff and their first party. But the first party isn't there. Like I mean, not to say there weren't any good games, like Indiana Jones, killer game, good game. Machine Games, freaking amazing, dude. Colton, I know. It's Dishonored. Dishonored. Indiana Jones is Dishonored and Uncharted. I don't know.
He really is.
I don't know why you haven't freaking played that. But so you should probably do that. But So just the end of an era for me as far as like Xbox as a console, because I highly doubt I'll buy the next generation. Like I'm just gonna build a PC, like that's kind of where I'm at.
It's so strange because I feel like about a year and a half ago we were talking about like your your struggle, your midlife crisis with like having a PS5 and Xbox Series X, and we had a conversation about you being, as you put it, an apologist for Xbox, right? When then we start seeing all these exclusives come out for PS5, and you're just like, you know what? I've been kind of like leaning more towards PS5. So to hear like you're now like much more like with the idea of like you want to leave Xbox as a main console and potentially just pivot to Switch and PC. Like I'm not surprised. I'm just surprised it happened this late, but it makes sense given the circumstances.
Oh yeah, like everything they could have done to like turn me away, they did. You know, like it's crazy, dude. So yeah, that's where I'm at. I mean, going into this next generation, that's really where I'll live. Like, my Switch 2 and my PlayStation will be exclusive machines, and I'll have my PC for everything else. Like, that's kind of where I'm gonna live. I feel like that's where everyone is gonna end up going, anyways, if they're really into this hobby. You know. Mm-hmm. So I don't even know if people are gonna even buy like Switches and PlayStations here soon. I don't even feel like those are moving. Like even the games on there are moving the needle. You know. Like they used to. But who knows? We'll see. It's still I mean, out of the two of those, I think Nintendo will be fine. Like there will be a Nintendo game that someone will want at some point and buy it. You know, Animal Crossing will come out and it'll sell 1 million copies, so it's fine. PlayStation, I don't know. Like it's becoming a little scary for them. Like, you know, I could see a lot of people skipping out of PS6, but it's difficult. So yeah, I mean that's all that
gotta do is come out with that Last of Us multiplayer mode, you know.
Dude, if there was a multiplayer thing I would have played this year, that absolutely would have been it. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Oh God, could you imagine that, dude? That a good like with how well 2 controlled.
Yes, I know. Like, I think about it very often.
Like I think of a game that I think of it on the same vein as like Metal Gear Solid 5. If like that had a really good like online multiplayer component, I think those 2 games are like some of the best controlling third person like shooting action games. And neither of them have like a good online mode. I'm like, why? But yeah. All right, Colton. I think saving this for last, if we were going to talk about a game in any detail, I feel like this is the one to do.
This is the one.
So take it away. I'm curious. I mean,
I guess when it comes to 2025, you have to talk about the elephant in the room.
The elephant.
Expedition 33.
Player obscure.
I remember seeing stuff like I remember seeing a little bit about it like in there like during development, like every now and then I'd see like a screenshot. And I wouldn't think much of it because I knew nothing of the studio or the game. And then the game came out, and I saw the reviews that people who got the game early, and then I started hearing you talk about it, Troy, and I was like, man, maybe I really should just get it, huh? And I got it, and I know earlier I said I didn't play a whole lot this year. It was really just Dishonored. It was Dishonored. But there was like a good like month and a half where I didn't touch Dishonored. The second I would get done with homework, I would jump on Expedition. And that is one of the best games in like a decade for me. There was something about that game that, just kind of, it almost seems like the same thing everybody says, because it seems like almost everybody loves the game after they play it. But yeah, I was very surprised with how much I enjoyed that whole game, the story, the twist, the just the combat, the way it looked, the UI. I mean, almost everything, and the music. I think everything about that game almost was 10 out of 10 for me. And I think it's crazy that Izayah hasn't played it yet.
I know.
I think that's crazy. I would love it. He says that he plays video games and that he's a gamer, but he hasn't played that in the entire year of 2025, and we're now in the next year, and he still hasn't played it. I think that really says a lot about Izayah's character. I've really lost a lot. I've lost my positive opinion about you, Izayah.
I crossing my arms. I have you know, leading up to Troy and Sam's wedding, Troy introduced me to his family. I was like, he plays games that y'all play when you were kids. I'm like, yeah, I do. Like Final Fantasy X, I think is like a huge like benchmark or like a point of reference for Expedition 33 and its development because those guys love that game. And from what I can see of this game, the little I play, which I will keep playing, I'm honestly just restart my playthrough to be honest with you.
Yeah, you're gonna have to restart at this point.
I probably would. It looks like my kind of game, and I'm gonna get yelled at for this as well. I haven't finished 1,000 Times Resist either, which it's there. I see it. I look at it. I yearn for it. I will play it. These two games are like my two, like in my head. I want to finish these.
Yeah, I mean, so as somebody who loved God of War Ragnarok, I really would have just preferred. I would, that can wait. You're already 2 years past that game. I think you should have just gone straight to Expedition.
I don't know. It's weird. It's weird.
My brain
weird.
Prerogative. Your prerogative.
So. Yeah, I don't want to be that guy, but when we never ended up doing this episode, but when they showed Expedition 33, I think it was like a Summer Games Fest like area last year. Was it like 2024 Summer Games Fest? I feel like that's right or whatever. This was my number one trailer. Yeah. I was like, I don't know what this game is, but literally it looks like they made a freaking Final Fantasy. I'm like, what is that? How are they allowed to do this? It obviously like wears its like it wears that on his shoulders, but just like it has all the style of like what a Persona would have mixed in with like really cool like different visual like style, like a different visual style. And it's been very what's the word? It's been very surreal to have a JRPG become the biggest game like this year.
Oh yeah.
Because obviously this is like a genre that I've loved since like junior high. Like if there's one genre of game, I'm like, what is my favorite genre of game? I'm like, it's JRPGs. Like that is my bread and butter. And so, there would have been a year where someone's like, hey, a JRPG like is going to become like the biggest game this year, like the biggest game, like bigger than like all the like crazy Steam multiplayer games were like, hey, 12 million people are playing this. You know what I mean? Like I would have called you crazy. Like, and so it's been really cool that this has happened. And it's been really interesting to see like people that have never played or dabbled in this genre before, because I've been banging the Final Fantasy train for like years, and it is probably the hardest. A lot. I recommend a lot of games to a lot of different people, and for the most part, like a lot of them, they will give it a try. But Final Fantasy, I can never seem to get anyone who has not already been into it since like the 90s or like early 2000s. To try a Final Fantasy. Like it is the game. I don't know if it's the anime art style, especially back in the day before anime, like before people all of a sudden were super into anime. And so there's something about Clair Obscur where I'm trying to figure out what the barrier is here that made people go like, oh, I'm going to try this. Cause like, it's funny. I would put Clair Obscur like right up there with Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Like the way I explained Rebirth last year, I'm like, this is. I think I was talking with Josh about it during our game of year. I'm like, I don't know how they made this game. It is one of the craziest games I've ever played. Like, there's so much going on here. There's like the systems are so cool. And so I feel like very similar to Expedition 33, the way I felt with Final Fantasy Rebirth. But to see like Rebirth almost get like glossed over, which makes sense. Like I said, it's not surprising to me. And Expedition 33 to hit so hard, it's just like very interesting. I'm like, is it the art style? Is it just like time and place? Is it
as
like,
someone who's never played Final Fantasy? I honestly can't tell you exactly what it is either, but I think I also think the way it looks has a lot to do with it.
Sure.
There's something that draws me in about the way Expedition looks. You know?
Yeah. It has a look.
Really something about it.
It has
it's
a look.
And it's almost like with Final Fantasy, I don't know. Like when I look at it, like immediately I'm like, oh, that's a lot. I already feel kind of overwhelmed. I don't really know what I'm getting in here, or what I'm getting into here.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I mean, not saying that I'll never try it, but I think the way it looks has a lot to do with it for me.
Sure. But yeah, it was just Expedition 33, like on its own merits, like just an amazing game. Like the way they just hit it out of the park. Like just like first try made like that is the highest praise. Like this could be Final Fantasy 17 and no one would blink an eye. Like that's how good that game is. And that's saying a lot. It's crazy. One might say it's better than Final Fantasy 16, but at the same time, they're very different games.
Very different games.
You really even can't like saying one Final Fantasy to another sometimes feels like you're talking about two different genres of game. But yeah, I mean, it's crazy how balanced it is and how much you can break and play around with. And, you know, sometimes when systems get too finicky, I kind of like, just be like, I don't want to do this. You know, is there just like a do this for me button? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's like, I don't have the mental, but like the way you just want to like min-max like everything and all your characters, it just feels so good. The parry system, like it's almost like Clair Obscur pulled out everything I like in all my favorite games, you know? Like, hey, we're going to make a Final Fantasy with a Sekiro level parry system and with like a crazy like modifiers with a cool environment, a great story, and like some of the best music that came out this year. Like, you know, it's just like, how did you make this on your first try? Like,
oh my god, dude, that music. That's
crazy.
Like half the game for me.
It's crazy.
And again, like when I'd say like what makes a JRPG, like on that list in the top 3, it's music. Like you don't have a good JRPG without good music. And they nailed that too. Yeah. I don't understand. I don't understand how they did that.
I also think a lot of the success is just people hearing like the story behind the developer. Also, people want, like, I feel like from what I've experienced, like
underdog.
When people hear about the story of the developer, they're like, oh, like that makes sense. Like that's why like this game, you can tell like it has so much passion and you can tell they really cared about what they were making, and it makes people like want them, you know, to succeed.
Yeah.
So it that feels like it had some, you know, quite a bit to do with it too.
Yeah. No, I think it deserves it all, and I think it's just it's the slightly elitist side in me, which I admit I have. I know. I'm sorry. There is a little part of me where like I will see like, you know, I'll go to like a message board on the game or something, and people are like, this is the most seminal game like that has ever come out. Like this is the future of gaming. I'm like, bro, I like, yes, but it's a JRPG. Like if you like this game, maybe you should try playing another. You should maybe try JRPGs. They might be cool.
If I may. No, yeah, because like what you were saying earlier, Colton, about the look of the game, right? So here's a good example of that. When I forget the director or the producer for Sonic, that new Sonic platform you didn't like, Troy, the one I like kind of like, that new one where it's like Superstars. Yeah, Sonic Superstars.
Oh, yeah, 3D, it's all right.
2D, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, right. The reason why they did 3D instead of pixel art is because they know the audience, the market likes 3D. Pixel art and often the kind of like the older look of games isn't as appealing to the wide market. When they want to get the sales and get that audience, they need to appeal to what is kind of current now. So Expedition 33, what it succeeds at is it brings in the fun stuff from these quote unquote niche, just games that you don't really know about as a general gamer current day 2026. They take mechanics from Super Mario RPG, Mario and Luigi, Final Fantasy X, and like a variety of others, and say
Sekiro, like the junction system from 12 is a lot
exactly
like the other stuff from FF12. Yeah, I know.
like the developers who made this game love those games, and they made all that together to make this game, which is why it's so beloved. Now, I say this because if you love this game, like Troy said, let me ask you something. Maybe now is now a good time for you to break away from your what's it called? Your standards? Yeah, your standards for like gaming.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough.
I get it, but like, yeah, Mario Luigi's right there. That's what Sea of Stars did. Borrow from those games, and it's why it's so good. But I get it. Old game, old. I get it. But
I don't think think people have like a chip on their shoulder. Like, yeah,
sure.
I mean
sure.
I mean
the story too.
I mean, at this point, like that's kind of why I stopped playing Xenoblade 3. Like, Xenoblade Chronicles 3 is mechanically one of the best JRPGs out there. And its world and music is so good, but the story is such a drag, and the writing's such a drag. So it's just that Expedition 33 hit like every point, like at least like if not like perfectly, at least to like a level that was like, this is like really impressive, you know?
Yes.
And there's even some like old school design there, you know? Like Metroid Prime 4 is, you know, felt like almost like a throwback game, you know? And I kind of like that. There's been games this generation where I'm like, this feels like a PS2 game. Like, yes, like Expedition 33 at times feels like a PS2 game. Like, especially like those crazy platforming sections. Yeah, you know, like would you ever find a game like that in like a first party Sony that didn't like auto like lock on? But like there's something appealing to that, to like the jank of that, where I'm like, man, this is exactly like it just
it was oddly refreshing to find those like little sections. You're like, oh, look at that, a little change of pace.
Yeah, a little change of pace. Like, it's not like a fully cooked out thing. It's just there. And you're like, all right, yeah, I'll climb these furniture into the sky. This is weird. But yeah, I mean, just again, like they made
it's cool.
They just put everything I love in video games all in one game and just said, here, you know? And so it's just so crazy. I have no idea what that studio will do next. I feel like a sophomore attempt for them must be really scary.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
Because I don't think they stumbled into this. Obviously, it was just like right time, right people, right place, right budget. Like, like I'll tell you, I did not see this coming out that I was upset when Microsoft released. They stealth dropped the Oblivion remaster on the week Expedition 33 was supposed to come out.
Yeah, I saw that.
And Microsoft partnered. Like, this was a day one Game Pass. They were the ones that did all the marketing and put them in like their directs, you know? And I was like, oh no, like Expedition 33 is going to get buried under like an Elder Scrolls like Oblivion remaster, you know? So I was like a little bummed. I was like, crap, like I heard like rumblings like, yo, this game's special. Like I can't say much more about this game than that, but yeah, you know? And so for it to come out and like do as well as it did, it is wild. It is certainly like, if not like, you know, it doesn't have to be on everyone's personal top. If it wasn't your number one, it was like on your list. You know, if you played it, it kind of seemed that way. So yeah, I don't know if there's much else to say other than it was just a joy to play. Yeah,
if you love Expedition 33, try out other games. Try out Final Fantasy.
It's crazy. Yeah, it's like, if you like, there's no direct analog. Like, I can't promise you that you're gonna like Final Fantasy Remake if you liked Expedition 33. I can't promise you you're gonna like Sekiro if you liked Expedition 33. But like, the best part of those games are in Expedition. So there are people out there that like, you know, I would say like, hey, if you like Expedition 33, try Metaphor Refantasio. Like, that would probably be my actual like that game also like just nails about everything it does, you know? But it's not gonna ever be as like the thing about Metaphor, that it was, you know, I've just played a lot of Persona, but for someone who hasn't played a lot of Persona, that game could be a pretty special thing. And if you never vibed with Persona, it's such a different thing at the same time. Like the characters, the writing, it's really quite its own thing. It's like a political theater drama turned into a JRPG. It's actually freaking rad. So, that would be, if there's one game coming out of Expedition 33, it actually wouldn't be Final Fantasy. I would say try Metaphor ReFantazio. But yeah, man, cool game. Okay, there is a game worth looking at. It's very me coded, but it's called Romeo is a Dead Man.
Oh, and shit, let me see this.
Look up the most recent trailer for that thing, and that is a weird ass, like, near coded, like,
let me see
not in style, but it's weird. It's called Romeo is a Dead Man, and apparently it plays well, which that's the thing I was worried about. It's like, well, it looks cool, but that replaced game
got a weird look to it. Interesting.
Very No More Heroes.
Yeah, it's Grasshopper.
Is it the same person?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Wow, that makes sense.
That's been the fall of his games. It's like, I love his style and stuff, but like the games sometimes suck. So this one apparently is good, like a good character action game. Romeo's a Dead Man. Replaced is that like super crazy pixel art game that's been in the works for forever. Yeah, Saros is coming to PS5. That's right. I do want to play that. And then Phantom Blade Zero would be another one. Oh, 33 Immortals. Yes. I played the early access of that, and that game is freaking rad too. But yeah, Romeo's a Dead Man. That is a look. Very weird.
Interesting.
This game looks crazy.
Yeah, it does.
This is very Bomb Rush Cyberpunk with like the premise.
That's coming out like the 11th, like February 11th. So like less than a month. Surprisingly, I'm probably gonna skip out on Neo 3.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I don't know if I'll ever
Neo
get into
2
like Souls-like games besides the usual.
Neo 2 is the hardest Souls game I've ever played. And it took literally every part of me to get through it. So the idea of going into another one from scratch, I'm like, I don't think I can do it. I think I got it. I think I get it. I've proven myself. Stop making more of those. Yeah, I've already proven myself. Stop making them. But yeah, I think Dragon Quest 7 comes out like a couple days before that anyways. So that's what I think I'd rather play, because that was pleasant and nice. Yeah, I don't know. There's some cool stuff next. There's some cool stuff next year, but I feel like, I mean, okay, well, I guess PlayStation does have Wolverine, and it does have Saros. So,
I just want that. I forgot I want Intergalactic come out.
Oh yeah. Intergalactic. 007 looks very good.
Oh, freaking 007 too. Dang it, that looks good too.
Yeah. Yep. That looks real good.
Just say, you know what sounds betrayal of me? I'm actually not really that stoked.
If I'm going to make a call on something that could potentially be big, that's under people's radar now, it's called Crimson Desert. So look up whatever this is the last thing to look up. Look up the latest trailer for Crimson Desert. I feel like,
oh my god,
it has the potential to like blow up, but I'm not sure yet.
This world looks phenomenal. Like the world is. Oh yeah, no,
they make their own engine. Like it's a crazy game, but there's so much freaking going on in that game. Like, if you're looking up a trailer, like the newest one, let's see.
This is good magic. This is cool. Hold up, why am I seeing robots? What the hell?
Yeah, dude. there's like wrestling moves going on.
What is going on here?
It's freaking insane, dude.
The top comment on the PlayStation trailer is "Please be optimized. Please be optimized."
That's so true.
That's really fun. That's really
funny.
I think you know what? It isn't the comment under it's true. Like I said, it's their own engine. Digital Foundry already said they played it and they were like, we're really impressed by this freaking thing. So yeah, I think awesome. That game has potential.
That could be cool too.
That's in March. There's a lot of freaking stuff early next year. So
yeah, March 19th. Yeah.
Or March this year? This year?
Yeah, dude. Like coming up.
You're just like March next year. I'm like, bro, we're here.
No. But I think that's gonna do it, gentlemen. I actually really enjoyed coming back and just talking about, I don't know, things that strike your fancy.
Yeah,
2025.
Good to yap.
Yeah, it was good stuff.
I don't know about y'all, but I shouldn't be as busy. I'm definitely not going to try to do full-time schooling in a single semester again, because I was miserable doing nothing but school like the second I get home from work. So brutal. I should have more time throughout the year. So.
That'd be fun.
It'd be fun.
I'd like to come back sooner. So, all right. Well, until next time, see ya.
Bye.
Read more books. Have fun.